up, world? My name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to another YouTube channel today, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back here together again. Now in today's video, if you guys are watching this, it is November 30th. It's the last day of November, and that means we have one more month of 2021 to go through. And by the way, it's been an amazing year. Just to let you know, I wasn't able to make my first list with the non-new release ranking because it just couldn't download. But if you want to check it out, you gotta go on my Letterboxd page. That's the only way you're gonna do it. But for today, we're doing all 8 new releases of 2021 November that I saw in the month of November of 2021, ranked from the worst to the best. Let's get started. Now, easily of all the movies that I saw this month, this was easily one of the worst films that I saw. And what makes it so bad is that, like the other ones, I just feel like that this film just did not work well with together. It started out as a pretty good sequel, but then it just turned into this whole plot line of trying to steal this thing. It brought the guy that played one of the school guys on the field trip from Spider-Man Far From Home, and he had this accent that I just did not think fit the film. They tried to make this a little bit of a spy film, but then it tried to develop the characters, and it just did not work well with me. So for me, this movie was actually pretty disappointing. Now this was a movie that I would say is a little bit more rewatchable than Princess 3, Princess Switch 3. It has some cool action with the criminals getting beaten up. I think it's probably the best looking of all the Home Alone films, just because it's with new technology and stuff. It's also just a pretty slick movie. There's some pretty cool jokes throughout the mix, and a pretty good cast, and the way they kind of tie it in with the original Home Alone. There's some fun stuff in it. But just the way that the story is, the way that they're not used as criminals as the original film, I like that they're doing something different. I just don't like how they're always doing. I just didn't like how they actually gave these characters a personality, or at least something to care about them. Because in the original Home Alone, you don't really care about the bad guys. They are just people that you just hate, and you want to see them get beaten up in the end. And that's kind of disappointing when you're watching a Home Alone film. Now this movie I would say is a little bit better, but it's not really close to being one of the best films of this year. It's pretty enjoyable. It has a pretty good cast. It has a pretty cool idea of taking one of Charles Darwin's discoveries when he was around, and basically taking that plot line and making them unextinct. It's a cool little plot line, though I'm not really the biggest fan of those types of stuff happening. But the Extinctables are pretty interesting characters, where they're all characters that were extinct and were just killed a long time ago. So that was pretty fun. The puppy that wanted to destroy all the Flores, or whatever those creatures are, he was crazy. But overall, it was an enjoyable film. Now, Love Hard, I would say, as this is the first film that I actually saw this month, I would actually say it's pretty good. Now it's not like top tier movie of the month, but it is pretty good. It tells a pretty good story. The characters have pretty good relationships. It's just a pretty good film, and the way that it is sort of predictable, but overall it's a story that I found lighthearted and a kind of good way to start the Christmas season off for November. Now this movie is probably one of the most divisive films on this entire list, because some people are absolutely loving it, some people are hating it, and some people are just saying that they do like it. I'm actually one of those people that did like this film, and I thought that with all the pieces that they did, I thought that they kind of worked. Granted, for the problems, it has character issues. The way they develop the characters, it does take a long time for them to develop them, and some of them just do not make sense. Like, it's not really simple character arcs because the movie is just so long and because they're developing so many characters. But for me, I feel like that it was a good movie. Some of the characters were pretty good. I like the idea that they are not actually humans. They're actually people that were just made for something. And it was kind of cool a little bit. Some of the action was pretty cool. It's probably the most beautiful MCU film. And so I thought it had some good stuff. Some pretty good humor. And just overall, a pretty good film. But a film I was surprised by, but not my favorite MCU film. Now, this was a movie I was very excited for because it's from the director, actually the creator of Central Intelligence and Skyscraper. I have never seen Skyscraper, but I have seen Central Intelligence, and I personally just ate that film up. And this movie, I kind of ate up the same stuff, where it has 3 likable leads with The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. It has, it's sort of a MacGuffin story, action story, adventure story. It pretty much is all the stuff I like in a film, and it's also humorous. It just does a lot of stuff that I want in a movie. Did it live up to what I was expecting? Well, I guess you could say that. It was a bit weird with the twists and turns, but the movie's not really there. You're not really there for the story. You're there to see the crazy action, the funny humor, and the likable actors. That's it. And that's what I got from the film. It was just enjoyable. It was just an enjoyable time for November of 2021, movies of November. Now, this was a movie I was surprised that I actually really liked because this is just a Christmas movie that I think tells a story about how someone wants a Nintendo for Christmas and how that translates with their kids and how that teaches them a message. And I think that's a pretty cool way to tell a story. And it's just filled with heartwarming messages, filled with cool humor. It's filled with all this 80s stuff. It has a pretty good cast to play these 80s characters. Just overall, it was a lighthearted film. Just go watch my review that I posted about a week ago. It's a banger, but overall, I really enjoyed this film. Now, this is easily my favorite movie of this month because, once again, like most of other films, Will Smith delivers one of his best performances yet, other than, him as Genie in Aladdin, Mike Lowrey in Bad Boys. Here, he's playing a father, also known as a tennis coach for his daughters, Serena and Venus Williams. And I think that he does great as this father who's teaching his daughters to play tennis, and the way that he has certain rules for them, and the way he actually wants to teach his girls something. And when they watch Cinderella, it's a very cool message how it kind of relates to him. And I personally loved his character in the film, how he's always getting bullied, and it's a sad story, but then it also just has its happy moments. And I love the way the story was all put together. So for me, King Richard was my favorite movie of 2021 of November, and that's why it's my favorite movie of November of 2021. So that's my ranking of all 8 November movies of 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram is Marvel6, my TikTok name is MarvelFan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my about section so you can follow me on all social medias. I'm also in Letterboxd. It's the same at Instagram, _6_, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.